Hey guys, how's it going? Jordan Locke here. The Republican MAGA cult still desperately attacking Taylor Swift. And it's honestly been one of the most entertaining things to happen this year in politics. It's been entertaining, but it's also been pretty sad to see the obsession that these grown men have over this pop singer, right? I mean, they are, at least recently, they've been absolutely obsessed with Taylor Swift. Now, why is the MAGA cult so hurt by Taylor Swift and so deep in their feelings and so in need of their safe spaces suddenly because of Taylor Swift? You're not going to believe what the answer is, right? You would think that Taylor Swift somehow personally attacked them. That's not the case. The reason why Republicans are so upset about Taylor Swift right now is because Taylor Swift told her supporters to go out and vote. She didn't even tell them who to vote for. She literally just told them to go out and register and vote.
Taylor Swift jumping into politics. What do you have to say to her? And what did she say? She said she wants people to vote for Democrats. And not Marsha Blackburn. Let's say that I like Taylor's music about 25% less now, okay?
So all of these people are so triggered over Taylor Swift because she told her fans to go out and vote. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jordan, wait a minute. I thought the MAGA Republicans were the party of law and order and freedom and preserving democracy and things like the right to vote. Well, you're right to a certain extent. They're all about preserving freedoms as long as it's their own freedoms. They don't care about anybody else's freedoms. They just want their own freedoms to be preserved. They support all those things as long as it supports their vision, their narrative, sort of their idea of what America should be at the end of the day, right? So what do MAGA Republicans think that America should be? It's very simple. MAGA Republicans want a racist, homophobic, misogynistic ethno-state at the end of the day. If they could have their druthers, if they could have this country exactly the way they want it to be, that's what this country would be. A racist, homophobic, misogynistic ethno-state where minorities have some rights, but not all the rights they're supposed to have. Just some basic rights. Where gays and lesbians are not a thing, and if they are a thing, it's something that has to be carefully hidden under the rug and not spoken about, right? So you have to sort of hide your lives and be invisible people if you're gay or lesbian. And the women are supposed to be barefoot and pregnant and cooking in the kitchen. And that actually ties into this entire argument that they have against Taylor Swift. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So I wanted to start by going over the Charlie Kirk video, right? I'm sure a lot of you have seen that video now. It's where Charlie Kirk and a couple of his buddies are having this little bitter, angry Republican therapy session about how horrible of a person Taylor Swift is and how Taylor Swift is so ugly and such a bad influence on America. The same people who are supporting Donald Trump, who just called all of his political opponents and even just people who don't vote for him vermin in his speech recently. That's okay. But Taylor Swift is somehow very bad for the culture. So I'm sure you've seen this video. These guys are just fuming about Taylor Swift. It's actually pretty funny. And then once we cover that, I want to get into some of the stuff that people are still saying about Taylor Swift on social media. Because yes, it's not over. They're still attacking Taylor Swift. And we're going to go over some of the things that these people are saying about Taylor Swift. So let's start with the Charlie Kirk video.
I have to be honest. I don't like Taylor Swift and at all. And
most guys don't.
Well, isn't that the real topic, right?
But that's kind of the real topic. And I feel as if she's being forced upon our culture. Like it's this Taylor Swift.
So the first thing, before we even get into what they're saying, is I want you to take a look at the faces of these people who are trashing Taylor Swift. Take a look at each one of their faces. Do any of these people look like they're in any position at all to be trashing Taylor Swift or talking negatively about her? Do you think Taylor Swift cares at all what any of the people on this panel have to say about her? Like, it's insane to me that they actually think that Taylor Swift even acknowledges their existence. It's insane. I mean, of all these people, Charlie Kirk is the only person that she might have heard about a few times in her life. That's it. Does she pay Charlie Kirk any attention, any mind at all? Probably not. So Taylor Swift, one of the most popular music stars in the history of this planet, is somehow being forced upon us. How does that make any sense at all?
I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. She's a narcissist. I don't think that she's very talented.
Oh no, Charlie Kirk doesn't think that Taylor Swift is so talented. What is that going to mean for Taylor Swift's career? Charlie Kirk and about 4 or 5 other people on the planet don't think that Taylor Swift is talented. Literally the entire planet, everybody else on the planet thinks she's talented. So your opinion is irrelevant, Charlie.
She's nasty. She's ugly. Nobody likes her. She looks like nobody likes her. She looks like a teenage boy. Like dudes don't like her. Like if you put her in front of like, she's ugly.
That's true.
So before even commenting on that, take a look at the guy who's calling Taylor Swift ugly. Let's say Taylor Swift wasn't even popular. Let's say she wasn't this big pop star or music star. If Taylor Swift was just a regular person walking the mall one day and happened to stumble across this guy, do you think Taylor Swift would pay this guy any mind whatsoever? Would Taylor Swift pay mind to any one of these guys on this panel? My guess is probably not.
Yeah. Does Taylor Swift have any eggs left?
I don't know if she had it to start with.
You mean like bitter, angry women, and that's like, Taylor Swift.
Like librarian, like your worst teacher you had, feminism. That's Taylor Swift feminism.
Here we have Charlie Kirk and company calling Taylor Swift bitter. Yes, Charlie Kirk and company, a group of MAGA Republican angry old men, calling Taylor Swift bitter. Taylor Swift is bitter. But Charlie Kirk and his MAGA Republican extremist cult buddies are not bitter somehow. Have you seen Donald Trump's face? Have you seen Mike Johnson's face? Have you seen Matt Gaetz's face? Have you seen the faces of these MAGA Republicans? All these guys' faces are contorted with anger and bitterness because the world isn't exactly what they want the world to be, right? Because the country isn't what they want the country to be. It's not this sort of racist, homophobic, misogynist. It's not this sort of racist, homophobic, misogynistic ethno-state where minorities know their place and LGBTQ communities are non-existent and the women know their place and they know their role, and that's in the kitchen being barefoot and pregnant, right? The country is not that. So these guys are super upset and super bitter. How dare Taylor Swift or any other woman for that matter challenge these Republican norms, these conservative norms that these men have in their heads? It's actually unbelievable, but it's also pretty sad that they don't see the irony in what they're saying.
If I got dragged to one Taylor Swift concert, I will never go back. I was in the very back. It was awful. It was all women and gays. That was it. And I was like, I want to be dead right now.
He's mad because he went to a concert and they were all women. This is starting to sound an awful lot like a certain group of people that we are not allowed to mention on YouTube. And I think you guys know what group of people I'm talking about. So we're going to leave that right there. He's saying he went to a Taylor Swift concert and he's never going back. That's great. I don't think Taylor Swift is going to miss you.
Because most of her fans are miserable.
They're all
She's
grew
an
up in the
incredibly
emo era.
unhappy person
people
because she
love
knows
that
that her
unhappy
body
music.
count is what it is. Her body count will have a museum and galleria dedicated to it at the end of her career.
I'm sorry. How do we know what Taylor Swift's body count is? I don't know what that is. I don't think that's something she publicizes on social media. Does it look like any one of these guys in this panel know what Taylor Swift's body count is?
I would take Free Britney, crazy Free Britney, over liar Taylor Swift, who sets up her whole life where she's not like a real person and she's leading an army of women over a cliff against all of us.
Yeah, Taylor Swift is leading this horrible army of women who want to exercise their right to vote, their freedom to vote. This horrible army of women who suddenly understand now that they're capable of so much more than just being in the kitchen and being barefoot and pregnant and cooking for you, man. That's what these guys want, right? Why are they really upset at Taylor Swift at the end of the day? They're upset because Taylor Swift is one of these role models that's showing women that they don't have to be serving these men in their homes. They don't have to be cooking you brownies and cupcakes. They're capable of having their own professions, of stating their own ideas, their own opinions, voting for whoever they want to vote for. God forbid women have their own rights and their own power to do what they want to do. And that's really one of the main arguments that MAGA is making at the end of the day. They don't like feminism, okay? They don't want women to feel like they're empowered. And that's exactly what Taylor Swift is doing. So make no mistake about it, that's one of their main problems with Taylor Swift.
She doesn't dress well at all. I mean, she dresses like super revealing. What is virtuous about her for young women to glean? Like date as many men as possible, complain all the time, ruin men's lives.
She hasn't started a family. She's in her mid-30s.
You have no kids. Like it's a terrible role model.
It's just awful that Taylor Swift doesn't have any kids, right, Charlie? I mean, who is she? Like, how does she not know? How dare her? How does she not know her role in society? I mean, she's supposed to be popping out kids for you, Charlie. If she's not doing that, clearly she's a horrible example and a horrible role model to women.
3 up. If young women start dressing sluttier because of Taylor Swift, which makes their life miserable, like when women dress like this,
I don't know if
100%. I'm telling you.
100%, guys. Charlie Kirk knows. He's telling you. I mean, he knows. He's telling you. When women dress slutty, it makes their lives miserable. Source, trust Charlie Kirk.
It's like, I don't why are you dressing like that, Taylor Swift?
I think it's worse.
You're dressed like a stripper.
But that's not the issue. The issue with Taylor Swift is that she makes women hate everyone. Like literally everything and everyone. Like
Taylor Swift makes women hate everyone and everything. Like, what are they talking about right now? Like, they don't have any like cohesive, like real arguments, right? You can tell because all the stuff they're talking about is completely spurious and stuff that's made up on the fly as they go. She makes women hate everyone. Show me a single example of that. Yeah, she encourages people to hate Trump. Trump is a terrible human being. Nobody should like Trump. What are other examples of Taylor Swift encouraging women to hate everybody? Like, you have to come with some solid, cohesive arguments. Stop making stuff up just because you don't like her, because she encouraged people to vote.
all of her, like the empowerment thing, again, it's the audience. You go to one of her concerts, it's not like a family friendly. It's a strictly female.
Calling it a cult.
Cult, yeah, it's a cult. That's what it is.
Yes, you just heard a MAGA cult. Yes, you just heard a MAGA extremist cult member call Taylor Swift concerts a cult. Have you ever seen a Donald Trump rally? Take a look at the two of them and weigh them together. Which one looks more like a cult? A Taylor Swift concert or a Donald Trump MAGA rally?
Let's also remind you, her politics are cancerous. Her politics are poison.
Taylor Swift's politics are poison. But Donald Trump, who called everyone who doesn't agree with him vermin, Donald Trump, who essentially fillets every single dictator on the planet, his politics are okay. But Taylor Swift's politics are poison. Mike Johnson's politics are okay, a guy who said that Jesus Christ gave him visions. Steven Crowder's politics are okay, a guy who made fun of the way George Floyd died after he was tortured and killed. Those politics are okay. But Taylor Swift's politics of inclusion, diversity, and equality for everyone, those are poisonous.
She doesn't do the stuff that a political true believer
but
would
she
really
just
do.
did something. She got
is
4 million girls registered in like 24 hours.
Yeah,
You see that? She
but
broke the website.
That's the thing. It's so easy
She's
for
gonna
her to do
destroy the
that.
country.
She just
And there we have the crux of Charlie Kirk's argument. What are these bitter old MAGA Republican racists so upset about? They're upset because Taylor Swift engaged her fans and told her fans to go out and vote. And I think she got like 35,000 people registered in like the first hour or something like that. Ended up being over 4 million people registered to vote. So why are they so upset that Taylor Swift is telling her fans to vote? The answer is very simple. They know what the standard Taylor Swift fan is. A standard Taylor Swift fan is a Gen Z or a millennial educated person, right? Who do educated people vote for? Educated people don't vote for Donald Trump, okay? Educated people vote liberal. They vote progressive. Okay, the only people who vote for Donald Trump, okay, someone who literally said that he's going to be a fascist dictator if he gets elected, someone who tried to overthrow a democratically installed government in this country, the only people who vote for those people are people who are uneducated in the Bible Belt, who don't do any research for themselves, and all they do is sit here and listen to people like Charlie Kirk, like Steven Crowder, like Jordan Peterson, like Jesse Lee Peterson, all of these twisted, bitter, angry MAGA Republicans who, once again, are not happy with this country because it's not what they want it to be. So that's Charlie Kirk speaking about Taylor Swift, guys. Obviously very upset, very bitter about the fact that she told her fans to go out and vote because they know exactly how Taylor Swift fans are going to vote. And it's not even like Taylor Swift told them to vote Democratic. She just said, go out and vote. So why are they so triggered? They're triggered because they know the type of people who listen to Taylor Swift and go to Taylor Swift concerts. And it's not the kind of people who are going to listen to Charlie Kirk. That's why they're upset. It's the kind of people who do their own research. It's the kind of people who understand that inequality is horrible. It's the kind of people who understand that people in the LGBTQ community are human beings just like the rest of us and deserve all the rights that every one of us has. Okay, it's people who understand that women are able to contribute more to society than popping out kids until they can't pop out kids anymore and cooking Charlie Kirk cupcakes. It's those kinds of people. It's people who understand that minorities are equal and that minorities are going to continue to fight until everybody in this country is considered equal. Those are the kind of people who listen to Taylor Swift, for the most part. And those are the kind of people who are going to vote Democratic, and that's why Charlie Kirk and company are upset. So now that we covered Charlie Kirk, I want to go over some of the stuff that people are still saying about Taylor Swift, because it's actually unbelievable. People are still triggered over Taylor Swift. So take a look at this tweet here from Adam Duell on Twitter. If you haven't figured out by now that Taylor Swift is a satanic priestess casting literal spells upon thousands of people simultaneously at these worship rituals, I don't really know what to tell you at this point. Taylor Swift apparently is a satanic priestess at this point. Why? Because she doesn't espouse the very evil ideals and narratives of Donald Trump. If there's anyone who is a satanic influence on people in this country, I would say that person would be Donald Trump. I don't recall Taylor Swift ever calling her opponents a vermin. I don't ever recall her saying that an entire ethnicity of people were all drug dealers and murderers. I don't ever remember Taylor Swift ever saying anything like that. What I do know that's happening is that Donald Trump is weaponizing xenophobia in order to get votes. And honestly, I don't even know if Donald Trump believes the stuff that he says he believes. I think he knows his base believes those things, right? His base doesn't like minorities, and he knows that. His base doesn't like gays or lesbians. He understands that. And his base is extremely misogynistic, and they feel like women have one specific role in society. Donald Trump knows those things, and he's using those things to get people to support him. Why? Because at the end of the day, I honestly feel that Donald Trump is a huge narcissist. At the end of the day, this is all about Donald Trump and people worshiping him. This is why he's so infatuated with dictators and why he fillets them every chance he gets. This is one of my favorites right here by Garbage Human on Twitter. At least he's not lying about who he is and who the MAGA Republicans are in general. Garbage Human says, Taylor Swift, age 34, husband 0, children 0, ex-boyfriends 14, body count, ? Cats 3. When I read down this list, I see nothing wrong here. But of course, MAGA Republicans see a whole lot wrong here. What do MAGA Republicans see wrong with this picture? Taylor Swift is 34, so obviously she should have at least 4 or 5 kids by now, right? She should be happily married to her husband and faithfully devoted and slaving away in the kitchen for her husband. That's what Taylor Swift should be doing. If she was doing those things, then she'd be a great role model for young women of this country. But she's not. Taylor Swift isn't doing what they want her to do. She's out creating an amazing life for herself. She's created so much wealth for herself. She created this profession that continues to pay her, continues to be extremely lucrative. She's living her life and being happy. And last I checked, that's all you needed to do in life. There are other things you can do in life. You don't have to get married. You don't have to have children if you don't want to. Those are all your rights. And this illustrates the exact problem with MAGA Republicans. Everything has to be the way they want it to be. They have this idea that because she's a woman, she has to get married. She has to have a husband. She has to have 3 or 4 kids at this point right now. That's her role in society. That's not the way it is. You can do whatever makes you happy. And Republicans are unhappy if people live a life that doesn't make them feel comfortable. Taylor Swift is doing just that, and that's one of the reasons why MAGA Republicans are so triggered by her. Jack Passo on Twitter says there will be conservatives who applaud the Taylor Swift Time MAGA Award PSYOP ahead of 2024, and later they'll wonder how we lost the country. They'll wonder how we lost the country. These people support a guy who wanted to overthrow a democratically elected government. Was that not losing the country? Did you see these MAGA cultists storming the Capitol on January 6th? I'm sure you've seen it. That wasn't losing the country. That was fine. But Taylor Swift somehow is going to make us lose the country. It's the bitter MAGA cultists who are going to end up losing at the end of the day. The country is going to be just fine. The country is going to be as great as it's always been. And it's never going to not be great. It's always going to be amazing. The only thing we can do to make this country better is get rid of people like this guy. End Wokeness on Twitter, another bitter alt-right MAGA cultist account, says Taylor Swift has a cult-like following that would drink poisoned Kool-Aid for her. The media knows this and is feeding into it. So End Wokeness, far-right Twitter account, far-right extremist Twitter account, is saying that Taylor Swift has a cult-like following that would drink poisoned Kool-Aid for her. Now, I want you to keep in mind that while he's saying this, he's supporting an entire constituency who is okay with Donald Trump trying to call Georgia and tell them to find votes that didn't exist for him to remain president. In other words, he was trying to thwart the democratic process. These guys are okay with Donald Trump. I don't know if you remember it or not, but a year before, 2019, I believe it was, Donald Trump had the Postmaster General of the country get rid of mail machines, scale them down. He got rid of something like 50% of like these huge mail sorting machines across the country. Why did he do that? Because he was trying to stifle the vote, because he knew that mail-in votes would heavily be Democratic. This man tried to overthrow a democratically elected government. All these things are fine. Turn up at the polls in 2024 and vote for this man. Here we have MAGA Nancy saying Alex Soros owns Taylor Swift. She's a Democratic pawn, a psyop shamelessly used to influence Swifties. Here we go. You know, with these MAGA Republicans, it's always the psyops and the deep state and George Soros funded New World Order. It's always all this garbage. Unless it's exactly what they want to hear, then it's fine. Then it's freedom. Then it's liberty. Then it's preserving democracy. But if it's something they don't like, it's always some George Soros funded deep state psyop or some other nonsense like that. It's actually pretty funny. You guys have to really come up with new material. So guys, people are still attacking Taylor Swift. She seems to have triggered something very deep in MAGA Republicans, and they will not stop. But I wanted to end this video talking about some of the good things that Taylor Swift has done. Taylor Swift is great in my book. Taylor Swift is on the right side of history. I think every Democrat is on the right side of history when it comes to this upcoming election. And Taylor Swift has always been on the right side of history. Here is Taylor Swift in 2020 on Twitter saying, after stoking the fires of white supremacy and racism your entire presidency, you have the nerve to feign moral superiority before threatening violence? When the looting starts and the shooting starts, we will vote you out in November. That was Taylor Swift in 2020. So Taylor Swift has always been on the right side of history, and she will continue to be on the right side of history. And MAGA Republicans know that Taylor Swift fans are also going to be on the right side of history, and that's why they're so upset. Here are some of the great things that Taylor Swift has done. Taylor Swift donates $70,000 in books to her hometown library. Taylor Swift helps some of her fans pay off student loans. Taylor Swift gave $50,000 of her own money to NYC schools. In September 2015, Taylor Swift gave Wildest Dreams video proceeds to an animal foundation. In February of 2016, Taylor Swift gave Kesha, the artist, $250,000 so she could record independently from Dr. Luke, the guy who was abusing her. I'm sure you guys remember that whole saga with Kesha and Dr. Luke. Here we have Taylor Swift supporting her with $250,000. In 2016, Taylor Swift pledged $1 million to help Louisiana flood relief victims. In September of 2017, Taylor Swift gave Hurricane Harvey survivors a helping hand. In October of 2018, Taylor Swift met a boy with autism she donated $10,000 to for a service dog. In March of 2020, this is something that happened very recently, Taylor Swift donated $1 million of her own money to the Nashville tornado relief efforts. So these are just some of the great things that Taylor Swift has done. Has Charlie Kirk done any of these things? If you guys can point to me where Charlie Kirk has shown that he's as much of a humanitarian as Taylor Swift is, I would love for you to send me examples of what Charlie Kirk has done. We'll see if the amount of money that Charlie Kirk has donated to people who are less fortunate than him even comes close to what Taylor Swift has done. So guys, this attack on Taylor Swift is absolutely disgusting. It shows how debased MAGA Republicans are. The fact that they're so upset because she got people out to go and vote is unbelievable to me. Like, literally just told her fans to go and vote. She registered over 4 million new voters. I thought that's what this country was supposed to be about. Isn't it about freedom and democracy and every human being having rights? That is what it's supposed to be about, except for MAGA Republicans. It's only about what makes them comfortable. If it's something that makes them feel uncomfortable or doesn't fit their idea of what this country should be, then they're completely against it. They've shown that time and time again, and they continue to show it with Taylor Swift's efforts to get people registered to vote. Guys, this MAGA cult attack on Taylor Swift is completely pointless. It's not going to go anywhere. They're not going to win this war. MAGA Republicans are a small group of bitter, angry people who are racist, homophobic, and misogynistic, and that group of people is slowly shrinking, right? What we're seeing right now, we're seeing their final cries of desperation as they slowly shrink and become irrelevant. That's what's happening right now, okay? They're loud, so you think there's a lot of them, but there really aren't as many as you would think, all right? And they know that younger people are not buying the stuff that they're selling, okay? Younger people aren't going to get on board with women having to stay in the kitchen and be barefoot and pregnant and cook their entire lives and pop out 5, 6, 7 kids. Younger people aren't going to be on board with minorities having to know their role in society and not being able to achieve anything greater than, MAGA Republicans want them to achieve. Younger people know that gay and lesbian people are going to have rights and they're going to be equal to every other citizen in this country. It's okay for people to be happy. It doesn't matter that their choice of partners is not what MAGA Republicans think their choice of partner should be. That's okay. That's fine. No one has to please them. All you have to do is be happy with your own life as long as you're not hurting anybody. This is a lesson that MAGA Republicans failed to learn, and because they refuse to learn this lesson, that is going to be the downfall of these MAGA extremists. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to support my content, and I will keep on reporting on this topic. I'm really interested to see how this entire thing turns out. I don't think it's going to turn out well for MAGA Republicans. Please let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.